Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I will be coming up with another interview question which was asked in the PwC Acceleration Center. It's a scenario based question. Uh, so the scenario will be, so we have to create a dynamic visual header based on the quarter selection. So whatever the quarter selection we are going to made in the quarter slicer, so respective quarter has to be populated in the visual header. So let me show you the sample. So whenever user selects Q1, so header has to be revenue contribution for 25 Q1. So whenever user selects Q2, it has to populate revenue contribution for FY25 Q2. The same for if any user would select for Q4, it has to show the revenue contribution for FY24 Q4. And if no selection made, so it has to show the YTD. Okay, if we select all, still it has to show the 25 YTD. Okay, what if we gonna select Q1 and Q2? So again it has to show the Q1 and Q2. It cannot be just a Q1 or Q2. Whenever user selects Q1 Q2 plus Q3, it has to show the Q1 Q2 Q3. Okay, again if we gonna select Q1 Q2 Q3 Q4, it has to show 25 YTD instead of all quarters. So this is the interview question which I got when I was attending in the PwC. Let's create the same. So I'll be creating a working session. I've created a sample column chart with a subcategory and total sales. Total sales is just a revenue for it. And I have added a quarter. So right now the text is a very static. Let me show you. So title is just a static text, revenue generation for FY25. So let's build the dynamic text, how it could be populated based on the quarter selection. Take a dynamic header measure. Dynamic header. So first let's build the header based on the selection. Okay. So whenever the user selects Q1 quarter, it has to show revenue generation for Q1. Whenever user selects Q2, it has to show the revenue generation for quarter 2. And if user selected Q3, it has to show the revenue generation for Q3. Whenever user selects Q4, it has to show the revenue contribution for Q4. And if no selection has made, okay, so it has to give a revenue generation for FY25 YTD. Okay, so this is what the condition which we have defined in the switch condition, switch case. So based on this, so whenever user selects any quarter, this is what is going to be populated in the respective headers. Okay, let's incorporate the same in the visual dynamic headers. Let's go select the visual, go to the formatting, navigate to the general, go to the title pane, and here let's add a conditional formatting for it. So we have dynamic header measure. So let's add the dynamic header, click on OK. So right now no quarter has selected, so it's showing the revenue generation for FY25 YTD. Okay, whenever user selects Q1, it's going to be 25 Q1. Okay, let me add all selected feature for the quarters. So whenever user selects a Q2, it has to show the FY25 Q2. It's whenever user selects Q3, it's 25 Q3. If it is Q4, it's 25 Q4. So based on a specific quarter selection, it is running good, no issues. Even if we select all quarters or not selected all quarters, so it is showing the specific YTD. So up to this specific context, there is no issues, all clear for this level. What if an user selects Q1 plus Q2? Okay, this is what the issue. Okay, whenever user selects Q1 and Q2, it is still showing a YTD because based on the conditions which we have given, there is no such condition has been defined for any selection. So every selection is an individual selection. Okay, if it is Q1, it has to show this. If it is Q2, this is one. If it is Q3, this is the condition. If it is Q4, this is the one. If no condition has been specified or not satisfied, so this is the final condition has to be defined. Okay, so that is the reason why when we select multiple conditions, so this is what it is showing 25 YTD, but that is not what we are expecting. Whenever user selects Q1 and Q2, it has to show Q1 and Q2. Whenever user selects Q1, Q2, Q3, it has to show Q1, Q2, Q3. When user selects just Q2 and Q3, still it has to show the Q2 and Q3. Only when user selects or not selects all quarters, then only it has to show the YTD. Okay, for that is the main concern. Okay, so remaining things just based on a selected value or just based on a switch condition, we can able to achieve it. But the thing what is expecting for an interview is not the thing which is which what we have done right now. Okay, so we need to make a minor adjustments to it. Okay, let's go to the dynamic header. So this way of approach is not that good. Let's make some minor corrections to it. So let's keep the same revenue generation for FY25, and here I'm just enhancing the query which we already given. Okay, to an extent which is clearly understandable and with a no need of writing all that conditions and everything. Okay, here revenue generation for FY25. So this is what, like, it's a selected value. It's a selected value of whatever the quarter we are going to do. Dynamic of quarter selection. If that quarter selection hasn't made, it has to be YTD. YTD. Okay, let's close it. So again, this would come back to the same context. So previously, I've given all the conditions with a specific values to it. Now I haven't given any conditions. So I have just taken a static value for revenue generation of FY25, and this is this quarter selection, selected value of whatever the quarter. If no quarter is selected, it has to show YTD. Okay, so again, it's going to give a same output. So whenever user selects Q1, it's going to show Q1. It's Q2, it's going to be shown as a FY25 Q2. And if we gonna do a selection for Q3, it's Q3, and no selection has made, it's going to show the FY25 YTD. So same for whether we select all quarters. If we don't select all quarters, if it is going to be shown as a 25 YTD. This is not what we are expecting. So on top of it, what is needed if we gonna select Q1 and Q2, that is what we need to incorporate it right now. Okay, so let's jump into the query again. So let's use a variable, one static. So this is a static. So let's take a static variable, static text. So revenue generation of FY25 is a static text. So this is no need to be changed at any point of time. Only the selected quarters has to change based on the selection. So let's keep that as usual. And variable qtr selection equals to. So in the quarter selection, so right now, whatever the command we are using, selected value. So this is selected value is going to be captured whichever quarter is selected, only one quarter selection. It's not going to pick multiple quarters at any point of time. So let's make a minor correction to it. Okay. Uh, Instead of that, we can use another command called concatex. Concatex. So we have to define a table for it. So first, the table context. For this, the table context is a quarters. Okay, I'll be taking the date table of quarters and the expression. So expression of concatenation is going to be the quarter again. And what level of delimiter. So how it has to shown. So previously we kept comma as a delimiter. So this is what a context. So now let me return just a quarter selection. So whenever we gonna give a quarter selection as an outcome, see right now I have selected only for Q1 and Q2. It is showing Q1 and Q2. Whenever I gonna select Q3, it's just Q3. If I do selection for Q1, Q2, it's going to be shown So whatever the selection I'm going to do it, it's going to show. So even if I would select Q4, instead of showing as a YTD, it is showing Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. Okay, so let's make some more minor adjustments. Now let's incorporate the static text as well. Static text. So I'm just concatenation everything. So let's incorporate that condition. So now for all quarters, instead of showing as a YTD, it is showing Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. Okay, now whatever I'm expecting is coming good, but for this condition for Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, it has to show YTD instead of all these quarters. But for remaining quarter, this is fine. Okay, whenever we're gonna select Q1, Q2, Q3, this is running good, no issues at all. Whenever we're gonna select Q4, this is not what we are expecting. It has to show YTD. So let's make a minor correction to it. So for the same quarter selection, let's give a if condition for it. If quarter selection equals to Q1, comma Q2, comma Q3, comma Q4. Okay, whenever this is a selection we gonna do, instead of showing all that quarters, it has to show YTD. Else for remaining selection 1, 2, 3 or 2, 1, whatever the selection of quarters we gonna do, it has to show the specific quarter selection. QTR selection. Now let's enter. See, right now we have selected 4 quarters. Instead of showing all quarters, it is showing 25 YTD. Okay, so whether we select all quarters, we don't select all quarters, it is showing the revenue generation for 25 YTD. If I would do selection for Q1, it's just showing for Q1. If I would do a combination of Q1 and Q2, it's showing Q1 and Q2. If I would do a selection for 3 quarters, it's specifying the 3 quarters. If I will do a selection for 4 quarters, instead of showing 4 quarters in it, it is going to show YTD. Okay, this is what the interviewer is expecting. So this is what the scenario based question which was asked in the PwC. Hope you have a clear idea understanding what sort of question has been asked in it. Okay, so just by thinking about the question, everyone would think in a way that just by using a selected value, okay, selected value is going to give a proper outcome for it. But that selected value is going to work only for a specific and one quarter selection in it. If we gonna made any selection of multiple quarters, selected value is not going to work at any point of time. For that, we need a somehow enhancement to it. That's what a concatenate text. So the concatenate text is going to concatenate. Okay, the name itself is going to combine the expression. So whatever we gonna do a selection for it, that is what the selection we gonna do it. Okay, so on top of it, the concatenate X. So again, we are getting a 4 quarters. Okay, if we're gonna do a 4 quarter selection, it's showing Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. That is what the outcome we are expecting. Okay, if any user would select all quarters Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, instead of showing all that quarters, it has to show YTD for it. Okay, for that reason, we have enhanced the query with a if condition as well. So finally, we have achieved the final outcome for it. Thank you for watching my video.